Okay, so we have our quick recap of Keena Ford so far. We met all the really important characters, and we learned about why Keena was really excited for second grade, and now why she's not, because her and Eric are all split up into two different classes, boys and girls, and the homework hut got ruined. Let's jump in and see what happens next. Saturday, August 28th, 8:30 a.m. I am watching cartoons with Brian while we are waiting for Dad to pick us up to go to Maryland. We watch two cartoons every Saturday morning. The first is about machines that fight for no reason, and the second is about funny animals on a farm. When you have to watch one silly cartoon before you get to watch a good one, it's called a compromise. 6:30 p.m. I am at Dad's house. Brian is playing with his friend, Marilyn Jason. I call him Marilyn Jason because Brian has another friend named Jason in DC. Brian says not to say Marilyn Jason because it sounds dumb. He also says not to call it playing because once you're older, you just call it hanging out. Since Brian went to Marilyn Jason's, that means I got to talk to Dad alone. When I told him I was going to be in a class with only girls, he just smiled at me like it was funny, and I said, "It's not funny. How would you like to be covered in pink and drinking paper bag tea every day?" Then he looked at me like I was a little bit crazy, and he said, "Maybe we should go out for coffee and talk about it." Going out for coffee with Dad is pretty much my favorite thing ever. For one, I get to order for myself. I always order a decaf with skim milk. Hold the coffee. When you say hold something, it means do not put that in my food. Like if you think spinach is nasty and you say hold the spinach, then you don't get nasty spinach on your plate. This only works when you go out to eat. It doesn't work on moms and dads. They will never ever hold the spinach. Anyway, I know that when I order a decaf with skim milk, hold the coffee, that just means I'm drinking milk. But the coffee shop smells like coffee, and I get to drink out of a coffee mug, so I feel like a grown-up. Dad and I have grown-up talks at the coffee shop. Sometimes we talk about how it can be a little bit hard for me to live in two places. Sometimes we talk about how I'll try to stay out of trouble, so my teacher stops calling my dad's cell phone and using up his daytime minutes. Today, we were talking about how super sad I was that Eric and I weren't going to be in the same class, and how I was going to be with all girls. Not that I have a problem with girls. After all, I am one. But I don't want to wear skirts very much, or play with dolls. I used to play with them sometimes, when I was really bored. But Brian would make fun of me. So now when I'm really bored, I just play tic-tac-toe against myself. There is another teeny tiny reason why I don't want to be in a class with all girls. I don't want to be with them if all the second grade girls are in one class. It means that Linny Berry will be in my class for sure. And we don't exactly get along. I think it started when I might have taken her green crayon. Linny got mad. She didn't invite me to her birthday party. It was on a Saturday, and she invited all the other girls in our first grade class. So on Monday, they came to school wearing these necklaces they got at Linny's birthday party, and I felt really bad that I didn't have one. So I called her a bad, awful, horrible name. I called her that name 3 times in a row. The teacher called my mom, but she was in a meeting. So then the teacher called my dad and used up some more of his daytime minutes. Linny whispered that she hated me. But the teacher didn't hear. Then I got sent to Mr. Lemon, the timeout teacher, and we had that little mix-up with the jump rope. And that is why I cannot be in the same class as Linny Berry. When I was thinking about Linny Berry, Dad asked, "Remember when you and Eric didn't speak for 3 days last year?" I said I remembered. We got in a great big fight because, well, I can't remember why. I can't remember why we were fighting, I admitted to Dad. It was probably because you were spending too much time together, Dad said. Sometimes if you spend all your time with one person, you start to fight about silly things. So maybe if you and Eric are in different classes, you'll be even better friends. Kind of like how you and Mom don't yell at each other now that you live in Maryland? I asked. Dad gave a tiny nod. Then he smiled, but he looked a little sad too. Then he said, we should probably go home. So I drank the rest of my milk really fast, and I wiped off my milk mustache without having to be told. Monday, August 30th, 9 p.m. Tomorrow is the first day of school. Mom, Brian, and I went shopping. I had to get new uniforms. Our school uniform is green pants or a green skirt with a white button-down shirt. The good thing about uniforms is that you can get an award for wearing your uniform every day, even if you don't get other awards like Good Citizen or Most Improved. And I also got a cool belt that sparkles. I got 2 pairs of shoes. Brian and Mom got into a fight because he wanted shoes that cost $100. Mom said, forget it. I said, I'm not complaining about my new things, Mommy. I'm just so happy to be shopping with you. And I gave her a big smile. She said, well, at least someone is grateful for their new clothes. Then Brian called me a mean name. I got so excited about my new belt and shoes that I almost forgot about Linny Berry and my all-girl class. Almost. So there's Keena out shopping with her mom and her brother. It is taking me a long time to fall asleep. I started thinking again about how I was not going to be in the same class as Eric. I have decided I'll probably hate 2nd grade. I hope she doesn't. All right, one more entry. Here we go. Tuesday, August 31st, 10:30 a.m. That's the same day that we started school. Pretty cool. Keena says, I love 2nd grade. There's some pink in our classroom, but there are other colors too. Our classroom looks real cool. We have 4 computers where we can play math and reading games. We have beanbag chairs where we can sit and read books. The beanbags are my second favorite thing about my new class because I need a soft place to sit when I read. Reading at my desk makes my elbows hurt. She sounds like you guys, right? Sitting on the sofa and sitting on comfy cushions to read. My first favorite thing about 2nd grade is my teacher. Her name is Miss Campbell, and she is wearing a blue shirt and a cool belt with sparkles, just like mine. She let us pick our own seats. I sat far, far away from Linny Berry. And Miss Campbell didn't read us a long list of boring rules. She said we get to write the rules for our classroom. Miss Campbell is so cool. This morning she told us that every morning after we read together, we're going to sit quietly and write in our journals. Then she gave us each a notebook that said journal on the cover. I raised my hand. Yes, Keena? Said Miss Campbell. This is a very nice journal you have given me, Miss Campbell, I told her. But I already have one. Can I write in mine instead? I pressed my lips together and waited for her to say that it wouldn't be fair for me to use a different journal than everybody else. But she didn't. She said, sure, Keena, that would be fine. I love 2nd grade. 7:30 p.m. Eric came over after school today, and we talked about our new classes. Actually, I did most of the talking. I told him about how Miss Campbell is going to let us make the rules and how she let me use my very own journal, even though it wasn't like the journals that the other girls had. I told him about everything we did. Then I asked, how was the boy class? Eric looked like he was thinking for a minute. I let him do it. I didn't say, hello, I asked you a question, because Mr. Lemon said that's a rude thing to do. Then Eric said, my class was really fun too. It was as fun as your class, maybe even more fun. Miss Hanson lets us chew gum in class, and she said we can do all of our work with a pen. You get to write with a pen? I shouted. Thought it was against the law to write with a pen in the 2nd grade. I only write with the pen when I do art projects at home or when I have to write apology letters. Eric must be so excited. But he didn't look excited. He was looking at the floor beside my left shoe. And then he said he had to go home. What do we think is going on with Eric? Why is he not acting excited?